I'm Sexton, and I'm the Toy Smuggler. Welcome to episode 2, and today we're going to do a quick review. I'm going to try to make it quick. I had a hard time really narrowing it down on the amount of figures I wanted to cover, so I got it down to like 2 types, and what we're going to be discussing today is likeness and articulation. I've been hearing a lot of different views and comments. You have these dogmatic fans, or it's all about 20 points of articulation, and then you have some fans who want to go back to the simpler way we did things back in the 70s, which is 5 points of articulation. So I'm going to try to quickly go through where I think where Kenner started and where Hasbro picked up, and they kind of dropped the ball and got on track, and then now they've dropped the ball again. So, and at the end of the day, I want to tell you my point of view on what really needs to be done, so that will benefit the collector and the kid that's actually getting to play. We tend to forget about the kid playing with the toys, people. Remember, that's where it all started for us. So I'm going to dive in here and let's see what happens. Number 1, we're going to start off with the vintage 1977 Stormtrooper. As a kid, we all loved it and we couldn't get enough of them. Bottom line, it's a very simple design. It was well sculpted in representing what the likeness of the movie. I mean, it was a 100. That's why kids wanted it so much. And trust me, if a kid had 50, he would want 55. I mean, he would be shooting for 100 probably. So, very well done. Not a lot of articulation. Only 4 points, but we didn't care. It looked like it. He was cool. He was awesome. Got the job done. Alright, years later, 1995, Hasbro's coming out, and this is the Han Solo Melloway, but the sculpt for the body and what came out in 95 was all the same sculpt, same mold, and we came out, and I know, everyone, you've seen other videos on this, all the figures came out on steroids, okay? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Everybody knows it. They was too big, these funky pose legs, they had issues standing up, but we were just glad to have Star Wars figures back on the shelves. So it was fine for what it was and when it came out. And then back a couple years after that, they came out with a Sand Trooper on Dubog. And I thought this was a much better upgrade. The helmet, not so much, but the body, he was able to bend the legs and actually ride something without having to do the old version of stuff them into the back and the legs hide out in the belly. So I think this was a much better upgrade. Hasbro was definitely onto something here, and it looked like they was listening to the complaints, and he actually trimmed down just a little, not much, but just a little. So they concentrated on the legs beating, which I thought was a good focus. And then 2 more years later, boom, this guy came out with a put an ice, I think something cold on him, and the little blast shot comes up. And when this came out, and I'm not going to lie to you, I thought that this was the best Stormtrooper ever, and I didn't think it could ever get any better than this. You got to realize, computers was just starting to become a thing in people's home, and it was not in everyone's home. It's definitely probably only like the 30%, maybe. So the internet was around, and so the part of digital sculpting and facial recognition, all that kind of stuff just was not even on the topic. So like I said, when this came out, I thought, boom, they never have to make another Stormtrooper mold again. And I think they even come out with this version with George Lucas's head on it. But I thought, great, he's got a lot of good articulation. He's even got the swivel joint on the shoulders here, a waist joint, and like I said, a nice knee joint here. It didn't swivel, but still, you could put him in any spaceship, any kind of shooting position. Job well done. People were extremely ecstatic. These didn't stay on the shelf but a day or 2 at a time. Alright, and then we move on to 2005. They relaunched a what they call the Vintage series, and I think this one this one once again, I didn't pull all of mine out. This is the Han Solo version, removable helmet, and wow, blew everyone's mind. They couldn't believe the articulation. They couldn't believe the sharpness of the sculpt. I mean, it was just, like I said, we thought the best was ever done. But by this time, the digital sculpting and computers started taking form, started creeping in. They tested it on this line, and it was a home run success. So this right now really is the only 3 3/4 inch series, if I'm not mistaken, other than their classics. The only one that keeps going up in value. All these others right here are depreciating, even if they're in the package. I think right now you can get them 3 for $10 on average. Where this guy right here is shooting up anywhere between $30 to $40 per figure. So awesome design. And then last year we come out with the Rogue One. They went back to the classic 5 points, and a lot of people really put this figure down. And I'm here to tell you, I like this figure. I like the simplicity of it. It has a very sharp sculpt. I think the helmet is probably the best helmet ever came out on any 3 3/4 inch Stormtrooper there ever was. And if you stand him up to the vintage one, wow, they could have come out with this back then, and we all would have just peed our pants. That's how good it looked. Only complaint that I have to have, and it's not the articulation. The head is on the bobble thing, so it gets good rotation. I have only one complaint. I think where this chest torso was a little thick, this is just a touch small. Where this would be a medium, if they would have took some measurements off this one and kind of kept it more true, closer to that, but yet with this sharpness, I think this right here would be amazing. The only other thing that I would change, other than slightly bulking this up, is giving him some bendable knees. Arms don't really matter, but bendable knees give a child more play options. So, and then we have, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not sure exactly what year this came out, is around 2014, 2015, is the Black Series 6 inch. And totally amazing. I love this figure. It looks great in the 40th anniversary package. It looks good in the box. It looks good out of the box. They just hit a home run with this. And here is where my big dilemma, and I may go on to this other part, but I'm kind of just stick with the Stormtroopers right now, is, alright, we have right now on the shelves, you can buy this, the 6 inch Black Series. And you got the Rogue One, it's just a 5 points, and still on the shelf, they're still doing versions of this Stormtrooper. He's still coming out. I think he's been on 4 or 5 different cards already. So we have, for the, what I would say the kid size, you got the real playable kind, and then you got adults trying to collect this one. And the prices of this, when we thought they came out with, at $10 was high, or now they're already creeping up to $16. And this right here, you can't even find one of these for 30 bucks if you're lucky. So, but there, if you luck up, you can find one at Walmart for 20 if you're lucky. Okay, don't bet on that. So that's the problem. We have too many different kinds of figures, and I'm going to bring this other figure out, because I was going to do one on Luke Skywalker, but I like to keep this video short. But I am going to bring him Dollar General. I'll do it real quick. We got the classic. This is rough, and I'm getting ready to do a restoration on this. I'll run for the Luke Skywalker quick here. The vintage Return of the Jedi. Love this as a kid. Totally awesome. 5 points. Tons of playability. Never heard a kid complain. Then you come up with Power of the Force. This version, ugly as sin. Not going to talk about it. Y'all know what it is. It's crap. Then you come out with this hyper articulated. Yes, it looks good. You can put him in a million positions. But a little kid gets a hold of this and they break things like crazy. Alright. And now you have a Dollar General version. Alright, you have the Black Series version. I did not buy the Black Series version. He was going anywhere between $40 and $60. And I kept looking at him on the packages. And I didn't like it. And then I kept going to Dollar General. And I kept seeing him on the shelf. And I'm like, dang, he's like $7. And I love how he looks on the shelf. So I bought him, and I put him on my shelf with my Jabba the Hutt that I've made and stuff. And I'm just like, even though his legs don't move, I still love the way he looks. I think he's amazing. I think if they just would put just a little bit of articulation in legs in these, whatever company, I know Hasbro worked on them, but I don't know what division of Hasbro. That's where we're getting confused, because we've got all these different versions. So right here, we have, we'll put them right here in this kind of same order here. We have hyper articulation, very little. Hyper, very little. 4 different running lines at the same time for I'm calling two different types of customers. I think we put too much complication on this, and I think for the kids, they should only have to be this version. This is for your 4 or 5 years old up to 10 to 12, play like a maniac. And I think for our age, anywhere adult on up, you're a fan of Star Wars, I think this version should be sold. So you take out these two, boom, here's the, I know a lot of people say, well, that really limits us. Okay, but sometimes limitation is good. Because here's what this will do. This will put, you all know, we don't get a large selection of figures. And then you have a guy like this, he comes out, they're so rare because they're making so many different sizes and kinds, they can't put out the right quantities out. So boom, this $20 figure now becomes $30 and $40, and he's almost impossible to find. Then you got some jerk on eBay or at a convention trying to sell him for $50 or $60. And you're like, I really want this, but you to really get it, you got to shell out the cash. It's ridiculous. So my version is you take out the fodder, set them off the side, get the best quality look, and the only thing I would say, Hasbro, add some bendable legs. One more deal of articulation. This bendable legs on a guy with this kind of detail and sculpt and quality, home run for playability for a child. Boom. This level of articulation, and I don't know, and I'm going to say this, I don't know if it's a Disney's fault or Hasbro's fault, but these come out at about $18 to $20, or maybe $22 if you're at GameStop. But Jakks Pacific is making these quality wrestling figures, which is a higher scale, which is like a 7-inch scale, and they got a line that's coming out with no extra accessories, but for $10. Now, you mean to tell me these little guns makes these prices go up to extra 10? I think not. So Hasbro, like I said, Disney, y'all need to talk and say, hey, we need to get this marked down to about, with the accessories, $12. Get that down and get this back down to $6. Then they're going to be, you are not going to be able to make enough. Even though you're going to be able to double the chances of making things, they're going to sell like hotcakes. They're going to be at the right look, at the right price, for the right buyers. Kids, adults. Keep it simple. And just so you know, on the kids, we don't need any crazy Nerf crap. Tell Nerf people to take a hike. I don't care if I think you might own them or whatever. Do something else. But don't mess with Nerf in Star Wars. It's not a good mix. Any crazy attachment, if it's not in the specifically in the movie, don't screw with it just so you can raise the price. $1 crap on it so you can raise it at $4. We're on to your game. We don't like it. That's why this figure sucks, because he does come with some kind of battle. Just sell him like this. Blaster, put some bendable knees on him. If you want to spend the extra money, put the bendable knees on him. And on this guy, drop the price. Make the priority figures priority. Put them on extra lines. Do what you got to do. This is my opinion, and I'm allowed to it. But I think this, in the long run, will make everyone across the board happier, as far as a consumer and as a child playing with it. And guys, we got to get back to the simple things. Yes, we are the original kids that love to play with these things, and now we're collectors. But yet, I want to see my child enjoy playing with them too. And this crap don't cut it with my little girl. She will eat the head off of it, get choked on the arm, whatever. It just don't work. This does. Take the weapon out when she gets a little bit older, but still. Children, adults. I'm Kevin Sexton. This is the Toy Smuggler. And this review is about, like I said, sculpt and articulation. That's my history from 1977 to now, and this is what I think we should do with it. Please, give me your comments, give me your replies. I will answer them. And stay tuned to our next one. We're going to be doing the next video. FartyCon is an Easter egg, a little convention, vintage toys, and I got a good little find there. So we're going to be doing like a 4 or 5 series on it. So please check that out. Be looking for it. I may be doing one more review before that. Not sure. Kind of going slow on the restoration because of the lack of sunlight. I'll get to that later. So, but that's the review. Sculpting to articulation to what I think should be sold nowadays. So that's it. Thank you for watching the Toy Smuggler.